Welcome back.
Hello. But I'm super excited. It's Halloween because it's one of my favorite holidays.
Yeah, so I have two Halloween costumes that I want to use soon. It's Halloween.
It's Halloween.
Let's celebrate.
Back to business.
So, as I mentioned we've been kind of building up to this for 2 episodes now because the last was a 2-parter. I've got a game I want to play some winter.
Okay.
And I'm going to invite you, Nick. I'm putting the group together in my mind of like who do I want to play this.
All right. Interesting.
So, like my wife Wormet's not going to be one of them because it's not going to be her cup of tea. I'm going to invite you. I'll let you decide if this would be Kat's cup of tea. I've talked to a couple of coworkers, so I've got a decent sized group for this.
Is this what this book is?
This book is related to that because this is going to be an event. This is going to be an all-day affair.
Ooh.
I'm going to try and condense an entire campaign into one mega session.
Oh my. All right. So I'll be bringing in my coffee and my energy drinks that day.
Let's just try to keep it to coffee, because this whole session and the whole reason why I want to do this as a one-shot is because of atmosphere. And I've been slowly building the plans for this for like 3 years now.
Oh, wow.
Like, before I moved into this house, I had the beginnings of this idea, and then I moved into this house, and then it started taking shape. And I've lived here like 4 years now.
Yeah. Well, this sounds very exciting. Can you tell me more?
Yes, I'm about to tell you more. So, something that I'm sure you know, Nick, but our viewers don't. This house that we're shooting this in, it's almost 100 years old. It'll be 100 in 2023, and downstairs, you know this, that we've got a formal dining room,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's an opening that really clearly at some point had French doors, but doesn't anymore,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of a shame, but it is what it is. And then we've got our living room, and on the far side of the living room we have a fireplace, and in our formal dining room we've got a sideboard, and we have a really proper old style house.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Definitely impressed upon me the first couple of times I came.
So part of the reason why this is going to be done in winter is length of day.
Okay.
So this is going to be done near the solstice.
Okay. All right.
We start at 8 or 9 in the morning, so probably fairly close to dawn, which, as you know, since we are 3 miles south of the 45th parallel, quite literally, when I take one of my dogs to the groomers, I pass the 45th parallel.
Mm-hmm.
Days get pretty short.
Yeah.
Dawn can come at 8 something in the morning, and
yeah, night starts rolling in before 5.
Sunsets at is 4 something, 5 o'clock. But with how overcast it can be, it can start getting dark at 2. You can start putting on your lights in your house at 2 p.m. because it's getting dark already.
Yeah. It sucks. That's super depressing.
Which is why, as we mentioned in the first episode, vitamin D is a thing for Oregonians.
It super sucks
take it.
for someone with a lifelong, low-grade depression, which you take medication for, on top of not enough light and vitamin D, on top of the gloominess.
Seasonally affective depression is a really big thing in Oregon.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you're aware, seasonally affective depression is big issue in Oregon. Almost everybody gets it.
Yeah. Do you know anybody that's ever been prescribed the light therapy?
Well, I mean, there's one right over there.
Yeah, there's that.
That's what that's
what
from.
That's for? Oh, okay.
Wormet was got that like medically years ago.
Okay.
And I use it almost every single day.
Right on. Yeah.
But yeah, that's where our light is coming from. It's a light box. We're actually getting bathed in UV rays.
How resourceful we are. So efficient. Getting our light and getting some good brightness for our videos.
And making sure that everything doesn't look yellow.
Yeah. That's good. Nobody likes that.
I've got this big, awesome light set with Edison bulbs that I'm going to put in this office at some point, but I haven't yet. Right. So I have lights from... I think they're from, like, the 60s.
Nice. It's not broke. Don't fix it.
Except it's terrible. Anyway, so... this is going to use a game system called Colonial Gothic.
Okay.
Which is a system... So one of the big things with D&D and most fantasy that we're exposed to is it's European. And there are places other than Europe that have their folklore and their fantasy. I know it's crazy, but it happens.
You're blowing my mind right now. What are you talking about?
So this system is based off of American folklore. Both native folklore, and it brings in like Lovecraft, Poe, what's her name? Emily something or other. She was one of the first Gothic authors. I should know this. I feel really, really bad that I'm able to, off the top of my head, name some male American Gothic and horror authors, and I get to the woman who's one of the best, and...
WaywornWyrm, you sexist piece of shit.
At least I remember and give her credit for being one of the first...
That's right.
Gothic authors. Holy shit. Maybe I'll redeem myself in the next episode and be like, hey, remember it's...
Yeah, we'll get those names to you. Don't you worry.
And it takes place in colonial America. It has two main settings of the French and Indian War, or as the rest of the world knows them, the 7 Years' War.
Okay.
And the Revolutionary War.
Nice.
And it's got this really fun horror campaign that I want to run. And so here's why I described my house earlier. So what we're going to do is I'm going to provide food out of this book. It is the City Tavern Cookbook. If you guys are ever in Philadelphia, go to the City Tavern. What I learned when Wormet and I went to go there, at my insistence, is you need reservations if you actually want to go to the restaurant part of it, but you don't need reservations for the bar.
Okay.
The City Tavern is a place that a lot of the founding fathers went to hang out after the day's meeting in the Second Continental Congress. And so yeah, the City Tavern, it's been open since I think 17 something or other. Here, it probably says in my cookbook. Let me check.
There you go. That's impressive.
And it is still open to this day. So
That's a big book. There must be a lot of good stuff in there.
Let's see, how many pages does it have? The index ends on page 392.
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew there was so much to offer back then?
I mean, the people who lived then?
I guess.
So this is the City Tavern Cookbook, Recipes from the Birthplace of American Cuisine by Walter Stabe with Peter Bauer. Forward by Pulitzer Prize-winning author David McCulloch. But it has just a whole bunch of colonial American recipes. Like, let me open to a random page. So this is for their chocolate mousse cake. What do you think of that picture, Nick?
Looks really tasty.
For the audience.
Yes. What is on top there?
Let's see. What does it garnish? What is it garnished with? Candied flowers or chopped nuts for garnish, which are optional. Although those look like there's some currants.
Yum.
There's just hundreds of pages of recipes.
Love it. I love salmon. Salmon is one of my favorites. So I don't know if that's going to be at this event or not, but you got one person that likes it if you like it.
No, I'm not a fish guy.
Gotcha.
But I might make some
No,
fish
it's not
for
everybody's favorite.
some people. So I'm going to be serving colonial American food for the whole day.
Awesome.
And I actually have a drink book called Steam Drunks that is full of Victorian recipes.
Ooh.
And if I start making a batch of mead, like within a week of recording this, it will probably be ready.
Have you ever made it before?
I made a half-gallon recipe once, but I have carboys in my basement. I have everything I need to make 6 gallons.
Yeah.
I even have the honey. It takes 18 pounds of honey to make 6 gallons of mead.
Damn. That seems like a lot of honey. It seems like, it's going to take a lot of honey, but I don't think I've ever seen that much honey at once.
It's like 3 gallons. 24 pounds is 5 gallons of honey.
See, I would just get distracted by the honey and I'd go like Winnie the Pooh on it.
Fun thing about the honey, it's actually bought like a mile from your house.
Oh.
Yeah. Just right outside of town, there's a bee farm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's blackberry honey from them.
Ooh. Awesome.
Later I'll tell you about that. The 5 of us need to go. Well, I'll have drinks, both alcoholic and non, from the rough time period.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have food. I will place candles both on the table and the breadboard. And there'll be a fire going on the other side of the house.
Oh. Your fireplace is a functional fireplace.
It is a functional fireplace.
That's cool, because ours is definitely not.
I mean, apparently we need to tear down the whole chimney and have it rebuilt from the floor up, but it's a functional fireplace. We have a chimney.
Mm-hmm.
It mostly works.
Well, that'll be really fun.
Yeah, and it's good. So as the game this campaign goes on, the horror builds, and I think it would go really well with the light going out and just like finishing the game by candlelight. And on the other side of the house where you can see but can't feel is this fire that's nice and cozy, and the hope that it represents and you won't have. I just make this atmospheric as shit.
Yeah.
And
that sounds awesome.
Like a week or 2 ago, I bought a bunch of scented wax melts off of I think it was an Etsy store that are RPG themed, and they will have arrived by the time of this game. And there's one in particular that I think I would I'll have.
Okay. Awesome. Is there any prep work that players need to do?
I would probably the prep work that I would give out is probably just like, here's a quick start rule guide, and let's meet like a week or two before and make the characters.
Mm-hmm.
So the day of, we can sit down and do it.
Perfect.
And you'd actually be running two characters in two different time periods that we flip back and forth between.
Ooh,
Because
sweet.
it deals with the Popham colony, which is the first colony in America. It failed.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that history at all.
Yeah, Popham is in Maine, and it was settled about a year before Roanoke.
Okay.
And Roanoke also failed.
I don't know anything about Roanoke, other than it was the theme for a season of American Horror Story.
Roanoke, basically, the guy founding the colony needed to go back to England to get supplies because they desperately needed them. And because of a war, he was delayed. So it took him almost 4 years to get back.
Oh, Jesus.
And by the time he got back, the entire colony was abandoned. And the only word, there was one word scrawled, and it said, I think it's pronounced Croatoan. Name of a local tribe. And he went back to England and was like, I don't know what happened. I was like, no, the natives know what happened. They have stories about it. Everyone knows what happened. The colonists got fed up and joined a local village.
Mm.
Like, the mystery of Roanoke Island is a mystery only to white folks.
Oh, man. Well, those white folk. What are you going to do?
So yeah, this game. So one set of characters live in the Popham colony as shit starts going down and the colony is eventually abandoned.
Mm.
And the other live in 1776. And for reasons that I won't get into for spoiler parts, they actually go to the remains of the Popham colony.
Mm. Interesting. All right.
And some Lovecraftian shit comes out. And by Lovecraftian shit, I mean his horror, not his super racism. Because he's super racist even for his day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's something we Americans have to deal with. Almost all of the awesome figures from our past are also happen to be super racist.
Yeah, you really have to struggle to find people that weren't super racist.
Frederick Douglass, I don't think he was super racist.
I don't know much about him either. My history's not good.
He's a black guy. That's why he wasn't super racist.
Well, that I mean, that's good because, yeah.
If I remember right, he was also a slave. And unlike what our president says, there's nobody alive today who ever met him.
Well, I mean, maybe Trump met him in a previous life, and he was recollecting. I don't know. He's fucking crazy. It wouldn't surprise me if
It would actually
believes
surprise
something
me
like
if he believed in reincarnation. That doesn't seem like something that he'd be into, but
I don't know.
I'd rather talk about real pumpkins
Right on.
than fake pumpkins.
Yes, me too.
So yeah, how do you like the sound of that game?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like it could be very spooky. and I love horror.
Yeah.
I love to watch from campy to thrilling horror, all of it. So anything that gets the spine tingling a little bit, I'm into it. So
Have you seen the new It film?
I've not seen chapter 2.
I have. I would say it's an action film that has horror elements in it rather than the straight up horror film that the first one was.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first one, I would say was straight up a horror movie.
Yeah, I remember it.
I haven't seen the Tim Curry one from the early '90s, but I'm.
Dude, that movie was so fucking scary when you were a little kid. The original It movie.
I actually have the book right in my closet there.
I read the book last year for the first time ever. And it's long as fuck, but it's pretty good.
And there's that scene that has not been put in any adaptation of the film.
Nor should it be, because it's fucking disturbing is a right way of saying it.
I mean, I get what Stephen King was thinking when he wrote that scene, because he's talked about it, and it's like, I get where you're going. I'm glad you recognize that you did that really poorly, primarily due to the ages involved.
Yeah, and that's one thing, like, in the book, they're way younger than what the movie portrayed them as, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So, anyway, for those that hadn't had the pleasure of knowing about or reading that book, yeah, there's a little gross stuff going on there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I saw the second movie. It was good. There are two actors who really stand out in that film. Bill Hader's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He just...
I'm a fan of his.
I think this is one of his best performances.
Nice.
He plays a comedian, but he plays it like, okay, I'm a comedian, but I'm not at one of my shows right now.
Does he play Stan? Do you remember?
I don't remember. He's the one who in the first one said, "Let's go kill this fucking clown."
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that, yeah. Stan is the name of
yeah,
that
last name with T, because they call him Trash Mouth. That's his comic name.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
That's him. Right on.
And there's some queer baiting with that character.
Oh. Interesting. Actually, You know what? I'm not sure that it's Stan. Don't get on my case if I got that wrong.
It's Trash Mouth. I don't remember his first name.
Oh, no, that's not Stan. Trash Mouth. Oh, I can't remember his name. It's not Stan. Stan is like the quiet, sort of reserved kid.
Yep. It's not Eddie.
No, Eddie is the kid.
The hypochondriac.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
Not a big deal. You should watch it. It's good.
I'll definitely see it.
James McAvery does a good job in the role.
James McAvoy?
Is that his name? He plays Charles. Yeah. Charles Xavier.
I like him too.
But he does really good in this film.
Nice.
And then, I mean, Pennywise is played by a Skarsgård, and that whole family's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought he, at least in the first one, did a good job of being...
But yeah, going back to the game, so we'd definitely start early in the morning, and we'd probably go till fairly late at night.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that Kat would like?
I'm sure she would, yeah. She loves... I mean, we actually did a murder mystery party one time at our house.
Nice.
She's done some of those in the past, but I think it'd be right up her alley, yeah. She's all about the ambiance and the fun of it, so...
Just we'd have to do something to make sure that your son and Romper Stomper, because I'm sure I'm going to invite those two, Meg and Jenna. We're going to have to find some way to make sure that they don't ruin the ambiance while still having a good time, because, we're good parents and good friends of people with kids.
Yeah. I imagine we would see if we could get childcare, because that'd be a long day for those kids.
Yeah. Maybe too long.
Yeah. I would think so.
Well, anyway, either way, that's going to be fun when it happens.
Sounds like it.
Do you have any more questions about it?
So is it gonna be very similar to D&D? Is it like basically a D&D homebrew?
It's similar enough that it'd be fairly easy for you to get the hang of it, but it is a different system.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty open-minded, so I'm willing to.
Yeah, it's a really fun game
to try. Yeah.
One of the fun things with the game is one of the most powerful weapons is a musket, right? It does like 3d12 damage, and you can fire it every other round.
Oh.
Because to reload it, it takes an entire round.
Well, that tracks, I think. That might even be generous.
With 6-second rounds, that's about normal.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never loaded a musket.
I have.
Have you?
Yes. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween. Such a heartfelt, good feeling, good vibe way to end this episode.
Well, I might edit out some of our tangents.
Yeah.
We do have a length that we're shooting for.
That's true. Well, at least we'll have plenty of content to choose from. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been at this for almost 2.5 hours for 4 episodes.
Yeah. You're welcome. Edit that out.
I might just keep that in. I keep this whole edit that out. No, I'll keep it in bit.
You know, I could play a character that's like super. I think I could play a really good douchebag.
Probably.
Yeah. Because I used to be a really big douchebag.
Didn't we all?
Yes. Wow.
It's a minor miracle that, given our ages and our other demographic information, that we didn't end up as part of what's now being called the alt-right.
Dude, I have a neighbor kid. So there's a family that lives across the street from us, and this kid, he must be a high schooler. And there's a couple kids that live there, I think. But he has a Make America Great Again hat that sits on his dashboard of his car, and he has a sticker a sticker on his water bottle. It's the Republican elephant that says Oregon on it. And
awesome.
I kind of, like, just to troll a little bit, like, once we get closer to the election, I just want to post a huge sign in my front yard that says, "Fuck Trump." Just to mess with him. And I have a Bernie sticker on my car, and I'm sure he's seen that, so it just, it'd be interesting to talk to him and be like, and he's in high school, like, dude, what went wrong? Where did you go wrong? Let's figure this out.
Well, one of these episodes, we are specifically going to talk about Bernie, because you and I disagree on Bernie.
Which I didn't realize until you mentioned that last time. So that will be super interesting.
I'm not a Bernie fan.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I have reasons. We'll get into them.
You do. I just won't like any of them.
I don't expect us to agree on that
Yes,
conversation, but we're friends. We can disagree. Neither of us think that... See, I think there are definitely political points you can disagree on and still be friends, and there are political points you can disagree on and not be able to be friends.
Agreed.
And it pretty much falls around does the person think that human beings deserve basic rights? If you fundamentally disagree on that, I'm gonna fundamentally not be your friend.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that.
Well, because you don't believe... You believe that all humans should have basic rights. But yeah, I don't... I'm not going to tolerate people who are just...
Oh, I'm sorry. I confused what you just said. Yes, we agree. We're on the same page. I thought you were saying Bernie doesn't believe that. And I was going to be like, what? Never mind.
I have some issues with some of his beliefs, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Next episode, which is actually going to be our next recording session, because we're done after this, is going to be... Probably going to go with Brezk. Where the hag lives. Berez. Like, half the towns end in K. I don't remember which ones do or don't.
They begin with a silent K. There's some Z's. There's a lot of E's.
I mean, it's clearly based on the Transylvania area.
For sure.
Because Strahd is clearly based off of Vlad the Impaler. Which, Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, is not from Transylvania. He's from Wallachia.
Where's Wallachia?
Right next to Transylvania. Wallachia is part of modern-day Bulgaria.
I knew that there was some shenanigans about the backstory, but you know,
maybe we can get into that sometime. Maybe it'll be our next year's Halloween episode. Yes,
that'd be great. We can go into like Gothic horror backstories.
Yeah, because Bram Stoker didn't really know what he was talking about when he wrote Dracula, and it's really, really clear that he knew some, but not a lot. Because he would have included it in his book if he had known more. Yeah. But yeah, so happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Hope you're having a good Halloween. I hope you get plenty of candy, whether you're trick-or-treating or you're passing out candy and buy some for yourself. Because that's what I do every year.
I just want to go back to Disneyland for Halloween. It's great if you've never been there for Halloween.
I have not. I've only been to Disneyland once.
I know it's not for everybody. It seems like you're either like a Disney person or you're just kind of like, oh, whatever.
One of these days, the whole group of us should actually go and spend like a week at Disney World.
That's on our list for sure. We've never been to Disney World.
Being from Michigan, Florida's where my family vacations. I've been to Disney maybe a dozen times. Disney World. Been to Disneyland once. There's a whole bunch of parks.
Yeah, I know. It's like it pales. Disneyland pales in comparison to how much there is at Disney World.
Disneyland is older.
Yeah.
But
it's kind of like the classic, like, you know, this is kind of where things started, and then Disney
there was
World's
only
like,
so much space, and
yeah.
then Disney World, he was just like, let me buy a swamp.
Yeah. We're gonna build an entire, basically, like, functional city. That's all Disney.
So, City Celebration, Florida. It's a Disney... It's essentially a company town. And Celebration bleeds into Kissimmee, which is one of the southern suburbs of Orlando.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, my family has a timeshare right at the border of Celebration and Kissimmee. And like it's really easy to get, especially to Animal Kingdom from there.
See, I'd love to go to Animal Kingdom. Because we've never done that.
Animal Kingdom is one of those places where you're there for like a day, and you never have to go again.
Nice.
Although now they've built the whole Avatar part, and it wasn't there last time I went. We'll mostly cut out this Disney stuff, but
yeah,
we'll keep a little bit in.
Why not?
So,
okay.
everybody, thank you so much for watching our Halloween episode.
Yes,
This
thank you very
was
much.
a very tangenty episode, but I think that's going to be our thing. I think we're gonna tangent every
I
episode.
don't think there's any stopping that.
If you're watching this on YouTube, do the YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, share.
Hit that like.
As Dale Kingsmill says, email this to your grandma. Well, maybe not this episode.
Depends on the grandma, right?
If you're listening to this on podcast, that's awesome. If you want to listen to it on podcast and you're currently watching on YouTube, in the description will be where you can find us on podcast form. By next episode, hopefully, or the episode after, either this next recording session or the one after, we'll have figured out where we're going to be
Where it's gonna
recording.
be. Yeah.
Where we're putting it up. We have a Patreon.
We do. 2 more white guys with beards.
2 more white dudes. It's dudes, not guys.
2 more
with
white dudes.
Yeah,
Okay. Scratch that. 2 more white dudes.
with beards.
With beards.
It's in the we've got links to that in the description. We could call this 2 more white dudes with chin beards because we both have chin beards right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we've got. I think we've got some fun perks for our patrons, and we've got tiers going from $1 all the way up to $60.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Different levels offer some different perks. Of course.
We have a patron-only Discord that we hope to see some people in soon.
Yes. Is that also 2 more white dudes with beards? Do we have a name for the Discord?
It is named that, but if you join Patreon at a level high enough, you'll be automatically...
Okay, it'll just show up.
Yeah. Although I think you do have to have your Discord attached to your Patreon account for it to be able to do that.
Okay.
There is a bot that Patreon has in this Discord.
Oh.
Because I just made it like a night or two ago, and I haven't invited you to it yet. But yeah, and Patreon manages our patrons, and their being able to be there or not.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, so I really like the top 2 tiers because so at $20 a month you can send us ideas for episodes and we'll decide what we think about that. At $60 a month you can submit one idea that we will make an episode on. Although we do reserve last right to refuse if it's just something that crosses a line with us.
Yeah. Don't be dicks.
Don't be dicks. And we will see you next week.
Yep, see you then.